начертили сверх идей. Говорят, начни с себя, я убил в себе империю. Хозяин багровеет, нас не выселить никак. На нашем флаге белый снег и синяя река. Эстрада больна, рядом война. Пляшут канканцы, говна, пирога. Вам баблгам, я назад в андеграунд. По соловкам, колокола.
Hey YouTube, this is Uncle Momo's music reaction channel where I provide my views on talented artists from around the world, both established artists and non-established artists. And I promise you that you won't be disappointed whatsoever. So why don't you come and join me in discovering amazing, talented artists and bringing it to the forefront of my channel for us to view. Now, my next reaction, surprisingly, is coming from Russia. That's right, Russia. And this particular artist, first of all, I saw another American Ukrainian artist making a statement on this particular artist, and I believe that he has reacted to it. Oleg, I'll leave these details down below. And then I didn't see this particular track, but what I did is I went onto Wikipedia, and then I saw a link on this particular artist doing a lecture in London. So this particular person, Oxxxymiron, this track's called Think. Oxxxymiron is he's a full heart supporter of not the war. He's anti-Putin, and he's been waving a flag for regarding the anti-war, and he's been doing that over in Russia. And then I think he had to get out of Russia. Then he went various other places doing lectures how much he's against it and trying to gather strength from with a majority of as much Russian as possible who think are like-minded. And he's trying to bring out all the Russians who are scared and saying certain things. But he's the one who's sort of like up and going about over and beyond his safety measures in showing how much he is against that, and how much people his generation and younger are against that. And I remember at the beginning, I think round about in March, I said a statement that maybe that the Russians are scared of coming out, and I got a frank response back from the Ukrainian people saying, well, actually, Uncle Momo, there's roughly about 80 to maybe, if not 90% of the Russian do agree with the unfortunate events that is happening. So I think that what I'm doing here is checking out what the, so to speak, 10% or the 1% of the people who are against the Russian are thinking. And I've gone on to, and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to react to this person. I don't know if it's going to be sort of like more propaganda and anything else than that. Let me find out more about this particular person, Omex. So I've gone onto Wikipedia, and it just says this. It says a lot of things, but there's one part in particular that I want to read out to yourselves, which made me feel okay. Let me see what his words are saying, and how well YouTube or Google Translate is going to translate his lyrical contents in rap, and what's he rapping about. But in Wikipedia it says, in reaction to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, Oxxxymiron called for anti-war movements, stating, I know that most people in Russia are against this war, and I'm confident that more people will talk about their real attitude to it. The faster we can stop this horror. He cancelled 6 sold-out concerts in Moscow and St. Petersburg, stating, I cannot entertain you when Russian missiles are falling on Ukraine, when residents of Kyiv are forced to hide in basements and in the metro while people are dying. He later said that it was impossible to hold an anti-war concert in Russia because total censorship has been implemented, and anyone who speaks out against the war in any way becomes potential target for criminal prosecution. he went on to announce a series of benefit concerts in other countries entitled Russians Against War, the proceeds from which would be donated to the NGO helping Ukrainian refugees. The first of these concerts was held in Istanbul, which has a last Russian diaspora consisting of people who left the country in process of the invasion. The other two concerts were held in London and Berlin. So I saw the protest that he held in London on YouTube, but I haven't seen the one in Berlin. But I thought, okay, this is the 1%, or I don't know. What do you guys think? I saw I think it was Oleg. I can't remember his surname, but he's American Ukrainian, and he, because I believe the language that he was speaking, which I think was in Russian, I believe that Oleg understood it more, and you know, he didn't give me a face of, oh, I'm impressed, but he said like, okay, yeah, fine, that kind of thing he gave. But like I said, there were certain parts where he understood it much more and said, okay, go ahead, you know, well done, bro, that kind of thing. But I'm translating it into English, and so I'm not too sure if it's going to be sounding the same, or the reason why I'm doing number one, because I'm intrigued about the 1% who are against this. I'm intrigued about the 1% who are scared to actually say something. But it's funny how these 1%, this is what I'm intrigued about. These 1% people, they could have came together and, you know, done a march, so to speak, but they're scared to be prosecuted. Now the enlistment of 300,000 people to 1 million people is being instigated by Putin. Everybody's up in arms and kicking out. So that same force could have been the same force to come against Putin and say, stop this war. That's what I'm getting at. Do you understand? So I'm intrigued to find out what's going on here. Apologies for blabbering on. I should make a reaction of, not a reaction, just me talking about how I feel about this. But I believe it will go on for an hour long. Or maybe I should do it on a live stream and get you guys to be involved in it. But look, I'm going to press the play button. I'm going to find out what it is. You guys, let me know how you feel about this as well. So, yeah, let's go on to it, shall we? So, without further ado, you know what we're here for. Great vocabs and a damn good video audio music. Can you dig it?
Издание «Фонтанка» опубликовало
потребовала признать песни рэпера
Следственный комитет поручил проверить деятельность Оксимирона.
Русские против войны.
Артист попал во все черные списки. Давать концерты в России он просто не смог. В общем, почему и зачем Оксимирон...
So the news is talking about him. So that's why he kicked out. I think he came back.
Приманка — это я-то сточертели сверх идей. Говорят, начни с себя, я убил в себе империю. Хозяин багровеет, нас не выселить никак. На нашем флаге белый снег и синяя река. Эстрада больна, рядом война. Пляшут канканцы, говна пирога. Вам баблгам, я назад в андеграунд. По соловкам, колокола. Где мой дом, где мой старый дом? Колдуном проклят старый дом. Ходит ходуном, под горой икает старый гном. Старым кадыком нас пугает ядерным грибом. Нах стариков, что лакает кровь чужих сынов. Черт, старый дом пересоберем.
It's almost the message is kind of subliminal. It's not straight. It's kind of coded. Does that make sense?
Как сладко делать деньги, леденец от Вилли Вонка. Кровавой карамелькою в слезе у бинго-бонга. А нам голова ломка, что на помойку, а что в котомку. А хули культура, значит пересборка кубика. Рубика, шар крутится, канут трюфели. Суд не будешь дыркой от бублика. Человечьи судьбы в дыму, капельки в бульбике. Жены публики честно берут на патриках туфельки. И бизнес as usual, дресс-код casual, загар южный, эпиляция в зоне бикини, чистка в зоне оккупации. Но только не отмыться в море, сколько не купаться им. Фанаты не забывают о трубадуре. Передаю привет СК и прокуратуре. Воздушный поцелуй красивым кисам на обводный. Ингрия будет свободной.
Ой, да заберите дом, ой, да поселитесь в нем, ой, да подавитесь.
For me, it wasn't straightforward.
Мы пересоберем. Ой, да заберите дом, ой, да поселитесь в нем.
But I don't know, words were lost in translation.
Мы пересоберем.
So that was Oxxxymiron with Think. So I believe there was a lot of words that was lost in translation because there's certain things that there was a lot of metaphors. That's the word. There's a lot of metaphors in there which you had to unscrabble. And for me, on the first look, I have to go back and say, okay, what is he trying to say here? Okay, what is he trying to say here? Which I believe that you guys will get it more than I do on that respect. So let me know what you think. Let me know what he's trying to get at. Let me know if you understand from his perspective. For me, I believe that he was trying to say something, but also being very careful of what he's trying to say. So putting it in a metaphor in more of a wise ways is, I don't know, is that common? You know, if I don't like something, I'm gonna say, look, I don't like that. And I'll put it simply in a phrase, I don't like that. But it was more carefully constructed in a way of, I don't like that. And I don't know if that was a message more of a message for the Russians to understand, where they can sort of like code it. Yeah, I agree with you. Because, you know, he's trying to get more people to stand up against this. But like I said, I kind of understand when I first said, many, like I said, back in March, where I felt that Russians are being very, very quiet in protesting against what's happening. Maybe they're scared. And you quite rightly came back to me and said, well, Uncle Momo, like I said before, actually, Uncle Momo, it's between 80 and 90% of the Russians that are for or pro-war. And I was kind of shocked. And, you know, I divulged into that, you know, by the directions what you guys given me to find out more about it. And so it kind of shrank down to, maybe, you know, 90 to 95. And, you know, then I call it the one percenters. And Oxxxymiron is one of those 1%. And then what was really, really intriguing was that, you know, like I said, Putin went onto the platform to say, right, I need 300 more soldiers. And by the end of December, it's going to be close to 1 million. And wow, you couldn't see enough people jumping up, you know, people that had money. I know that the cost of flying out of the country went from, you know, 1,000 to like 5,000 pounds, or, you know, or 6,700 euros per flight, and people started going off to various borders, and there was protests about it. Well, so it was kind of things, those people who were silent against the war are now having voices because it now involves them, rather than them actually looking at the TV of what's going on and saying, well, I'm helpless against it, what can I do? Well, you've done something, you don't want to be involved in the war, because you don't want to be killed, or B, you're not patriot enough, or C, you was against it in the first place, but you didn't have a voice to stand up to say, look, or you didn't know if your next door neighbor was against it as well, because you basically don't talk to each other, you keep it to yourselves. And now this is highlighted something where now, you know, people are kicking out of the country by any means necessary, by the whole boatloads. And I believe that Putin is now putting up borders there, and anybody sees that the border is going to prosecute them in leaving. But, you know, that movement should have been the movement from the beginning for the, you know, hand-in-hand protests against the war. You know, it's just for now, you know, a different subject, show those people who are against the war kicking out. Because surely if you are with the war, then you would have joined the army. Simple as. But, you know, I'm waiting for you guys to share your thoughts on that. You know, do you understand this more? I'm expecting you guys to understand this more than I do. I'm expecting you to explain it to me, for me to understand, whether it be the good side or the bad side. Any side is for me to understand and be educated on it. So that's what I'm looking forward for you guys to show me about this. This 1%. I'll call them the 1%ers, and maybe that is very, very cruel to say, but until I see a growing larger number with placards who are actually against it, just like Oxxxymiron is doing, like in Istanbul, in Berlin, and in London. Check him out what he was saying about it in London. Very quite interesting actually. But for now, I salute you. Let me know what you think.
Фанаты не забывают о трубадуре. Передаю привет СК и прокуратуре. Воздушный поцелуй красивым кисам на обводный. Ингрия будет свободной.